Oh, man. It's a good thing we are not live yet because
Yes.
I don't have any clothes on right now. Should probably throw on some clothes.
Yeah. That's probably a good
Get
idea.
my
Or you could be like
birthday
Nick.
suit ready.
You could be like Naked Chris. Naked Chris does it on Thursdays, right? Thursdays was Naked Chris days back in the day, and he'd just be naked for the local hour. And I think you could do the same thing. I mean, it's almost Thursday on the East Coast, right?
Yeah, sometimes you got to air it out. Oh, we are live. Um, Welcome everybody to the post game show, the NBA post game show. I'm Tom Haberstroh. That's Amin Al Hassan. But you already know that because you're tuning in. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, we decided to do the Kyrie Irving return game. He is back. He is
Yeah.
in a Nets uniform on the road, of course, not in Brooklyn, still not allowed to play in Brooklyn. And he played really well. 22
Right.
points. He had 4 assists. He came out a little icy, but then got hot in the second quarter. We'll also talk about Stephen Curry. We'll talk about, more importantly, bearing the lead here, Lance Stephenson, unbelievable debut, the third stint in Indiana. It is Lance Stephenson night. I mean,
Yeah, and there's a lot of interesting things to talk about, but Tom, I'm outraged. Outraged. I mean, there's something that happened tonight that was outrageous. There is a knockoff Red Panda doing halftime
oh,
show.
I saw this.
The hell out of here. And she rides a bicycle. I'm like, this doesn't impress me at all. The plates she's spinning, dare I say it, aren't even plates like on a fulcrum. They're just like pinwheels. What was that about? Who okayed this? There's only one red panda. There's only one red panda. And it's not that fraud.
That's
That
Fraud Panda, not Red Panda. That's
imposter.
Fraud Panda.
I think we can workshop that a little bit. Fraud Panda
That's
doesn't. Yeah.
that's
She's
no
an
cred
imposter, though.
Panda.
Imposter. That's what that is. That is a bootleg. That is an unreasonable facsimile. It's garbage.
Yeah. It's an atrocity. I mean, this was supposed to be Dirk's night. This was supposed to be Kyrie's night. It's supposed to be Lance Stevenson's night. And here you are, Red Panda, trying to ruin it all. Indiana, come on, Indiana. You got to do better than that. The
What are
birthplace of basketball,
what are we
the soul
doing?
of basketball. Come on. You can't be bringing some bootleg Red Panda for the halftime act, especially when people are watching. It's Kyrie's return. Come on. Where's Red Panda?
It's a
We know what?
raccoon.
We should get Red Panda
Red
on the show
raccoon.
sometime and ask her about this.
Did she retire? She retired and she unretired, right?
She
I believe that was a
unretired.
thing.
Yeah, she needed to ramp up her conditioning a little bit with her act. It seemed like it was a little rusty at first, but she's back, man. I
Yeah.
hope.
This, by the way, this was Amin's rant for the day. I got it out of front. Don't come to me later asking for one. Uh, Kyrie pretty good, huh? He's pretty good at
Yeah.
that basketball thing. You know who's better? This is what I love about nights like tonight.
Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant's amazing. It's amazing, man. This dude's
Some
incredible.
of these shots, he's
Here's
incredible.
here's a question, right? Are we gonna swoon and faint like we did when LeBron played 5 against Houston like a week ago? Because that was the lineup that broke the Pacers, right? They put
Mm.
Durant at the 5, they put Bembry at the 4, and then Mills, Kyrie, Harden. Those are your perimeter guys. And they suffocated a bigger Indiana team. And Durant was masterful on both ends of the floor. And are we even going to mention it tomorrow? Will First Take and Undisputed and all these podcasts and radio shows, how much time will they devote to saying, wait a second, this dude played center defensively, not just played center to take advantage
Right.
of the size or the quickness discrepancy. Scored 37, right? 39, excuse me, on 15 to 24 shooting from the field with 8 rebounds and 7 assists. just remarkable. No, let's talk about Kyrie. Oh.
No, the other thing is like coming out of the gate, like KD was shooting. He was getting him up. And I was like, whoa, like this is Kyrie's night. And KD's like on a mission to just destroy these Pacers. But you know who showed up? About 4 minutes into the game, who showed up? But Lance Stephenson, I mean.
Lance to make him dance. It's something about Indiana, man. Like, it's the best place for him. It's so funny when he left Indiana the first time, right? You remember that? And it was like Lance Stephenson, he's leaving Indiana. Like, he really developed over those first 4 years. He goes to Charlotte and was kind of looked at as to be the guy. And his field goal percentage drops from 49% that last year in Indiana, where they're really successful, to 37.6.
And then he jumped to like Charlotte. 5 different teams after that. I didn't even remember the Pelicans era, Lance Stephenson.
I don't either. But I remember the Clippers one. The Clippers one because it's like, okay, he needed to be somewhere with a lot of structure. Charlotte was too loose. Goes to the Clippers.
He played in the Eastern Conference, which means Doc Rivers wants him.
Yeah, he played well against the Celtics once upon a time. But going there, he's playing with Chris Paul. Like, he's going to be in a structured environment that'll mirror kind of what Indiana was like. But he was trash with the Clippers. He was trash with Memphis. Don't even remember New Orleans. Don't even remember Minnesota. Comes back to Indiana and has a little bit of a renaissance, right? Plays all 82 games. That never replicates like that last year, but like was still pretty good for them, better than he'd been in the recent years. And then he goes to the Lakers, and we had fun with him and what's his name was also on that J.R. Smith on the team at the same time. And then he's gone. He goes to China. And we thought that was the end of Lance Stephenson.
But no. Until tonight, he makes his debut back in Indiana. He comes off the bench. He scored 20 points in the first quarter. I mean, and that was actually his career high for any quarter in his career and any half in his career.
That's lovely.
Any half.
Finish with 30 points. Way to go, Lance. Way to make them dance.
Indiana career high. 30 points. He's not a scorer. That's what's amazing about what he did in the first quarter there is that's not his game. Like his game is not shooting the ball, not scoring. He's always been a distributor, a guy who gets into people's heads. He blows into LeBron's ear. That's his skill, not scoring 20 points. Like he had not scored 20 points in a single half before tonight. And he did it all in like 6 minutes in the first quarter.
Do you think Lance knows that? That's my favorite thing. Like, do you think do you think he's aware? I think if you ask him, he's like, yeah, I get buckets, because when he had it going and they were hunting out Kyrie out there, he was like the dance. He was dancing. He was so in his element, but his body language and his shot selection are not that of someone who thinks of himself. I'm a blue collar defense first guy. I can make a couple of plays off the dribble. That is the body language and approach of someone who's like, I get buckets. That's what I do.
I mean,
the first time I saw Lance Stephenson, real quick, he was an 8th grader.
It's not going to be quick. I'll just tell you.
ABCD camp. He was in 8th grade, going to 9th grade. He played against OJ Mayo. OJ Mayo at that point was like the top rising senior or rising junior in the nation, like, and this was the next coming and everything, and he went toe to toe with OJ Mayo. And I remember he was like, because OJ gave it to him, but again, OJ's like 4 years older than him at the time, and he's an 8th grader. It's kind of weird, who was built like that. And I remember he was like damn near devastated, wanting to cry, and I told him, man, you're all right, man. Like, you shouldn't even be here right now. It's like the fact that you're even competitive is pretty remarkable.
That's incredible. That's a great story.
I know. Thank you.
Wasn't even that long. I thought it was going to be like a 5-minute or like, yeah.
No, I told you it's a quick story. You doubted me though.
All right. Well, yeah. Because you know what? I think it's time, Amin.
Okay. Time for?
I think it's time. Lance Stephenson was balling out there.
Mm-hmm.
He busted out his air guitar after hitting that shot in the first
Mm-hmm.
quarter at the buzzer. And I think it's time.
Oh wow. Okay, so like newcomers, I don't know if you guys know this. Tom fancies himself a bit of a an acoustic guy. Yeah.
All right, so Lance Stephenson, January 5th, 2022. This is for you, okay? Um, you busted out your air guitar. I'm going to bust out my real guitar, my little Taylor here. Haven't played in a long time, so this one's for you. I wrote a little song, a little ditty for him. Okay, ready?
Ready? So rich.
Sweet Lance, this was supposed to be Kyrie's night, but you said no, I'm not going down. No, I'm not going down without a fight. Sweet Lance, you scored 20 in the first quarter. The Nets defense just said we are out of order. Sweet Lance, you played that air guitar. We missed you so much, but you weren't very far from our hearts, from our souls. Where were you the last 2 years? No one fucking knows. Sweet Lance, sweet Lance, sweet Lance. Oh, sweet Lance, you were born ready. Tonight you were sweeter than KD's hezzy. Sweet Lance, we don't care about the final score. All we care about is we want more. Sweet Lance, in Indiana, I don't have another line, so I'm just gonna say banana. Sweet Lance, oh sweet Lance,
Yeah.
oh sweet Lance, oh sweet Lance, sweet
Simmer.
Lance, oh.
Wow. All off the top of the head, huh? Uh, I love the comments. The comments just like, why is Tom singing? Oh, come on, man. Have some fun. What do you guys
Yeah.
want? Oh, they ran 17 friggin' rows and then the game. Like, you guys don't want that. Come on, be real.
Don't listen to the comments. Don't listen to
Be
comments. I
real.
mean,
I don't listen to the comments.
I
can't
just want to
them.
hear. I just want to hear Lance Stephenson what he thought about that rendition. That's all I care about. I care about an audience of one. I mean,
This is like when Mike Ryan played the Depoy song for Draymond. And Draymond was made very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable by it. But
sweet
yo,
Lance. Yeah,
I
was
guess
great.
Kyrie was awesome, man. Kyrie was awesome. He kind of scored all over. He was the finishes were just ridiculous. Like he hasn't missed a beat in terms of
No,
like individual offense, which I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't think he would. Like Kyrie doesn't really need a system that kind of gets him into the flow. He's an ISO player. He gets to where he wants to go, and he's incredible at shot making around the rim. I was pleasantly surprised by his stamina. Right, like he got 32 minutes out there. and didn't look winded. I never did. You get the impression at any point, this dude looks a little tired, or man, he needs a breather.
No, he looked great, and like even all of his misdirection dribbles, he seemed to be busting out all of that package tonight. Like he didn't seem tired. I was worried about that because this dude hasn't played since the playoffs last year when he got
Yeah,
hurt. And so he's not really able to do those scrimmages. There's no
right.
training camp for him going into this. And I guess like same goes for all these hardship exemption guys that are all around the league that Kyrie's not, making it. I'm not making any excuses for Kyrie here, but like, man, he could have gone out there and just been winded and tired and didn't have it. But, he's Kyrie.
Hey,
He's
I
got
got
as much of a package as anybody.
I got a question from the chat from T Hope. Do the Nets? Oh, here we go. Do the Nets tank home games so they can get a low seed so Kyrie can play more playoff games? You want to take that one, or shall I?
What was the question? Sorry, I was.
Do the Nets tank home games so they can get a low seed so Kyrie can play more playoff games?
No. I mean, this conspiracy stuff in the NBA, like, you know what? I don't think they're going to tank. No, I think they're going to. There's too much that can go wrong there. Like, I don't think you're going to see that. I think KD loves. I think KD loves basketball too much to tank. Like, I really think that KD wouldn't be. If they sideline KD or like if he gets hurt, maybe. But no, there's no way.
But so here's my question for you. Like, forget about the competitive nature of your players or your coaches or whatever. If, let's say, you could hypnotize your team and say, I'm gonna make them do whatever I want, would you strategically tank games in order to be a lower seed? To me, the answer is so obvious.
No.
Yeah, absolutely not. They're the best team in the conference without Kyrie. They've been like 1 or 2 basically the entire time. Like, why would you choose to start a series on the road? Go up 2-0 at home, and then Kyrie comes back, you play 2 road games, and then you're up 3-1, or maybe you sweeping. As opposed to like, I'm gonna start like with one arm tied behind my back on the road. It just doesn't make sense. This isn't a middling team. This is the best team with quite possibly the best player in the league. There's absolutely no rationale or logic to try to be cute with your standings, with where you're seated.
And the other problem with that is how much do you have what is that?
I don't know, something like peanut butter.
You have peanut butter in your armpit, bro?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's been a tough night. I'm hungry, so.
Well, because there's peanut butter in your armpit, you probably should eat that.
Yeah,
and not you should put it in your mouth rather than your armpit.
I'm not having.
Your mouth is here. Very odd way to eat. I mean, so the other thing is, and I think this is something that the NBA should implement, is the higher seeds in the tournament should be able to pick their opponent.
Yeah, I thought we were doing this. Like, they sent it to the G League. They tried it out. Like, here's the thing. It doesn't hurt anybody, because if you want to be a coward, then just pick the 8
pick the team you were scheduled, the default team, the default team.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you want to actually be smart about it, yeah, man, I don't want to play the Lakers in the first round, maybe, right? Depending on who's the 8, who's the 7, who's the 6, right? I might want
well, someone gets hurt right before the playoffs, right? Like, let's say Dallas makes the playoffs and then Luka's hurt. Like, if Dallas is a 4 seed and I'm the number 1 seed, I'm taking Dallas. Maybe not this year because Luka's a mess this year, but the point is that we create so much more intrigue. And to relate it back to the point you were talking about, this is where I was going with it, is if you choose to tank, that team that you're playing has so much chip on their shoulder, bulletin board material, and they're going to do everything they can.
I don't even think it's that. I just think it's like, why would you start a series on the road?
That's fine. That's fine.
Like
That's
the
fine. But
idea, by the way, the idea that game 7 somehow, like, who says it's going to a game 7?
very rarely does it go to a game 7. People always
Right?
talk
Like,
about game 7s. It very
such
rarely
a
goes to a game
weird
7.
thing to be like the bigger thing, honestly, in home court advantage is more about not going down 2-0 to start your series. That's what it's about. It's not about, well, game 7, when we get a game 7, we'll be there. By the way, I'm watching the Dirk Nowitzki jersey retirement ceremony, and Tyson Chandler is wearing, I mean, it looks like he's like wearing a what do you call it? A bubble coat. He just came in from outside where he was shoveling snow.
How big is that bubble coat if it's on Tyson
huge.
Chandler?
I look at Dirk. I've never seen Dirk look so cleaned up.
So let's talk real quick about Brooklyn's own Lance Stephenson, okay? Because I have a little time.
I have a little
Tom's trivia.
I thought we were done. All
How
right,
do we not have more Lance Stephenson? He dropped 30 points tonight in his debut, and he did some air guitar on the Brooklyn Nets, and when it was supposed to be Kyrie's night, and Lance Stephenson's out here looking like Michael Jordan. So, yes, I'm going to talk about Lance Stephenson. He was out of the league for 2 years. He was out of the league for 2 years. He was playing for Grand Rapids this time last year. He was playing for Grand Rapids. Yes, we're going to talk about Lance, but not in the way that is very directly about Lance. Amin, Tom's trivia tonight. I was wondering, Born Ready started going on that little trail. I was walking down into the woods on the trail of Born Ready. I was on StatHead and Basketball Reference, and I was like, I wonder where he was born, whether they call it the Bronx or Brooklyn. It was Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, yeah.
Knew he was from New York. Brooklyn.
He went to Lincoln. He went to the same high school that Stephon Marbury went to.
So I did some digging here. I mean, I'm taking out District of Columbia, DC, taking it out. Which U.S. state has produced the most NBA players per capita?
Ooh, the per capita changes the math considerably.
So I'll just give you a hint here. For those who are listening in the chat, I want to hear your guesses for this Tom's trivia. We do this every time we do this show, every pod, every post-game show. Tom's trivia is a little, not Googleable, I would say, trivia question. Not Googleable. Right. I just made that up.
You got to do some digging.
California has the most NBA players born from that state. So
yes,
426, and New York is at 418. But I posit to you, when you adjust for population, which state is the most productive?
That's tough.
Fertile for NBA players.
Yeah.
Born, prolific. Not high school, not college, prolific in producing
efficient
NBA players.
All right, so I'm guessing it's not New York and it's not California, because they just have two big population centers there that no matter how many NBA players you're getting, it's just not enough. Yep. Illinois, I see a lot of people saying Illinois in the chat. Illinois, I think, is maybe, but again, Chicago's such a big city. Like I would guess that a place like Louisiana would have more per capita than Illinois, because Louisiana has a lot, but they don't, like, their biggest city is New Orleans, and that's literally the smallest market, or the second smallest market in all of the league. Again, Florida, very populous state. Texas, very populous state. It's got to be one of these states where it's a little thin on the population side, but basketball is a big enough deal. Indiana, I see some Indianas out there. That's a good guess. Tom, I'm going to go with Illinois.
That's a very good guess, actually. Fourth on the list. Fourth most efficient in producing NBA players. Illinois has 293 NBA players all time, a population of 12.5 million people, and they check in at 42,000 people per NBA player.
Okay, well, how about this? Missouri.
No, kind of middle of the pack. 74.
Really?
Yeah,
I
74.
thought about
They're
all the
83,000 people per NBA player. This
mm,
this state has 31,000 people per NBA player. So Illinois is fourth with 42,000. This one's at 31,000.
oh man. I'm at a loss here. Is it Maryland?
It is not Maryland. The answer is Mississippi.
Mississippi. See,
You were on
Louisiana
the
was
right
what I was
track with
thinking. Yeah,
Louisiana.
Louisiana. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mississippi has a lot. Monte Ellis and Jonathan. What was my man? Jonathan Bender. I believe my man Eric Dampier is from Mississippi as well.
That's correct. Yep. Damp.
Yeah, trying to
Former
think of
Heat
other.
great Eric
Yeah,
Dampier, who once beat LeBron James, James Jones, Eddie House, Mike Miller, and not Shane Battier, and LeBron James. Did I already
Mario.
mention LeBron?
You said LeBron.
Mario
LeBron was the
Chalmers.
first one.
Yep.
Mario.
They
Yeah.
had a 3-point shooting contest before a finals game around the world. They went around the world, and who won? Eric Dampier. Love that. So it's Chet Walker is the best player to come out of Mississippi. Al Jefferson, Antonio McDyess,
Yeah.
Monte, Mo Williams,
Yeah.
Rodney
Yeah.
Hood, and Chris Jackson, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf.
Mo. Wow. I thought. Wow. Okay. So Mo Williams and Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. I won't lie. A little bit of a surprise. Mo Williams. I thought he was from Alabama, or did he just go to Alabama? And then
Just went to Alabama.
yeah, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. I thought he was from Louisiana. Huh. Someone said Jarvis Vornado. Yeah, he did. Jarvis Vornado went to Mississippi State, but I think he's from Atlanta.
So Tony in the chat, in the behind the scenes chat, the insider chat. Woo! I don't know what that was. I think I was channeling Conan there. Alaska heads 2. So Alaska's actually
I'll tell you who they
at
are.
the end.
Carlos Boozer, Mario Chalmers.
Yeah.
Yep, those are two.
Yeah.
Oh, Trajan Langdon.
I don't know if they're. Let's see.
No, Chalmers isn't. Chalmers is like a military brat, but like Langdon and
Trajan
Boozer are
was
both
born in Palo Alto. How about that?
Oh, see.
Boozer. All right, I'm looking this up real quick. Boozer was born in Germany. I think I knew that.
Yeah, he's a military guy too.
So actually, I don't know. Yeah, you know what? Mario Chalmers, born in Anchorage. You know what?
Anchorage.
Mario, we're sorry. We apologize to Super Mario, or as they call him in Miami, Rio.
Okay, so so someone asked in the chat, who's 2 and who's 3?
Okay. Well, number 2 is Louisiana. Louisiana, 124 NBA players, a population of 4.6 million. That's 37,000. If we're counting DC, that's by far the highest per capita. DC has 76 NBA players and just 700,000 people in it.
Yeah.
For 9,000 people per NBA player.
Right. It's a city.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's like if you compare DC to like New York and LA, it would in Chicago, it wouldn't be the highest, right? If like those other like they're dragged down pretty much by the rest of their states where DC doesn't have that problem.
So it goes Mississippi 1, Louisiana 2, and checking in at number 3, the Colonels.
Kentucky.
Yeah.
Thought about that one too.
Yeah.
Thought about that one too. All right. Okay.
Number 4 is Illinois, and Indiana at number 5. So Indiana does, I kind of had to say that. Indiana, shouts to Indiana, the rebuttal to our, you know what, Hickory High, the whole like soul of basketball, kind of overrated if you don't show up to your NBA games. But now I promise you, Sweet Lance is going to bring them and fill the seats.
Nothing like a good dose of nostalgia to make people get up in their fucking arena and go to the game.
Yeah. I mean, hey, Mario Chalmers, like, Tony, do we know when Rio's making his debut? Because I kind of feel like it's going to be a special night in Miami. Like I don't know if we have that many more in these hardship exemptions. Like Joe Johnson, I guess.
We're about to run out, by the way, because everyone's caught it now, and now they're gonna get over it, and so it's like every guy who's hoping to come back or get their first chance in the league is just hoping that Utah has an outbreak because they're the only ones, right? They're the only ones who haven't lost a single game.
But they did until yesterday. Joe Ingles checked into health and
Yeah.
health and safety protocols. So like,
Right.
if Utah, how about this? This is a good question. I mean, if Utah could get a throwback player to come out of retirement to play for them and get the most positive reception, like Lance Stephenson, like Rio Chalmers, like Joe Johnson, in that similar vein, who would it be?
Dude, Darren was at a game the other day, and they went nuts when they put him on the board.
Yeah.
They went nuts. Like I guess like all the hard feelings are gone. With regard to that.
Yeah, I
mean,
think it's Darren Williams.
yeah. I mean,
Al
look, obviously I'm not
Jefferson
saying
hit the same
Stockton
strings.
or whatever. Like it has to be someone who can actually play, right? It can't be
Right. Like I'm saying, like, is Al Jefferson someone who would tug at the heartstrings a little bit with them
I
because he
think yeah,
grew up
they'd
there?
like yeah. Who? Well, I mean, yeah, they'd like him. I think Al Jefferson would be well received. But then again, I would say is Lance the biggest one, or would they receive like Danny Granger better if he came back?
Oh, it's Lance. It's got to be Lance. He's a
Yeah.
cult hero, man. Yeah, he's a cult hero.
Then Danny
So
Granger's an all-star,
yeah, but like Al Jefferson was an All Star. You know, like I
He was
mean,
an
it's not
all-star. Al Jefferson was
Al
an all-star.
Jefferson. So shifting back to the game tonight, Indiana scored 70 points in the first half. The Clippers dropped 70 points the other night against Brooklyn in the second half. The Nets have like a top 10 defense in the NBA this year, which is a weird quirk. It's bizarre. You would think that Brooklyn this year, with all the injuries or the in and out of the lineup, that they wouldn't have a cohesive defensive unit. But now they've kind of fallen apart here in the last couple of weeks here. And this other thing that happens in the NBA that I don't think, casual fans really get, but there's this concept of opponent 3-point percentage. I mean, yes, opponent 3-point percentage. Why are we talking about opponent 3-point percentage? Because in the NBA, you can control a lot of things. You can control, you can block the shot. You can control how much pressure you put on somebody. But one of the things that statistically you have not been able to show has any sort of sustainability statistically is how well your opponent shoots from downtown. It statistically is very unreliable. So you could be the best 3-point defensive team. You're always in their grill, but NBA players are so good. They're like Tony, right? 10-day Tony out there at the 3-point line. It doesn't matter if you have a face in his eyes. He's going to make that shot.
A face in his eyes.
Eyes in his face. Face in his eyes. Doesn't matter. You could have a foot. You could have Amin's armpit filled with peanut butter in my face. And if I'm an NBA player, I'm still going to hit that 3-point shot. It's really not going to make a difference. They're that good. So when you look at the Brooklyn Nets 3-point defense, they have the best, by far the best, the lowest, 31% opponent field goal percentage, way lower than anybody else. Right. If they just gave up the average 3-point rate, they'd have something like 150 additional points to their ledger, and they wouldn't nearly be a top 10 defense. They'd be more middle of the pack. Right. So what I'm getting at here is that top 10 defense, I think, is
a mirage.
It's a mirage. And we're seeing it here in the last. They can't guard Lance Stephenson, who hasn't played in 2 years. They were basically giving a conveyor belt to a backcourt that had no starting. The Pacers didn't have a backcourt tonight, and they were letting everybody penetrate into the lane and get to the rack. So I'm asking you, Amin, what's more real? Brooklyn Nets are a top 10 defense, or that they're a bottom 10 defense?
Oh, I don't think they're a bottom 10 defense.
But do you think they're a top 10 defense? Like, what's more real?
How
Their
many? Wait, hold
actual
on.
ranking or
Because
like
I'm assuming you have these numbers in front of you. What what are they at as far as 3-pointers allowed, and how many of
in
them?
terms of
And
volume, you're saying?
yeah, yes.
All right. So in terms of 3-pointers allowed, they've given up 11.6 per game, which is 10th um, lowest. So
Okay.
they've given up the lowest 3-point field goal percentage, and then the 10th lowest 3-pointers. Not a huge volume.
Right. So like I think that means something to me. That is meaningful. That is a meaningful piece of information that yes, while I see your point and you're saying, "Hey man, people are shooting terribly, but that's not because they're great at defending. It's just probably more luck of the draw." But the opposite of that is, well, how many do they give up? And
So they give up 37 3-point attempts a game. That's ninth highest in the NBA. But in terms of makes, they're way at the bottom because of that
no,
field
no,
goal
yeah,
percentage.
yeah, exactly. So to me, it's always about that's 3-point defense. The best defense is not did you miss the shot. The best defense is you didn't even take the shot, right? You weren't even, by the way, Brian Cardinal, it took me all of like 20 minutes to figure out who the hell is this random white guy sitting with these NBA players? Because I know the trainer, I know the equipment guy. It's not
But he
them.
was bald in the NBA. It's not like
I
he's.
know. No, it's
Does he have
because he's
hair
fat.
now?
No. It's because he's fat. His face is fat. He's round. He looks like your typical equipment manager right now. It's kind of crazy. Like I've seen so many, or strength and conditioning coach. Sorry for the distraction there because I got the Dirk retirement in front of me. But again, Tom, to me, that's what it comes down to is like the best defense isn't that you missed the shot. Best defense, you're like, on second thought, I'm not going to take this one because that's the only part you can control. And so when you look at the Nets, and then particularly not only how many 3-pointers you give up, but specifically corner threes, right? Probably most important of them. Well, I'm looking at it right now, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The Nets are 10th in corner threes allowed, and above the break threes, they are also 10th. So my guess is they're actually like a middle of the road defense.
Yeah, I think
Some
that's fair.
17, 18, somewhere around there. I don't think they're bottom 10, but I also recognize they're probably coasting a little bit with where they are on the defensive rankings. Look at that. We learned something, guys.
Yeah, we give you little vegetables tonight. We give you some
Yep.
crazy, weird shit of me singing a Lance Stephenson song and strumming my acoustic guitar, but we also give you some of your veggies too.
So Tom, one of the questions I've seen a lot of people talking about this, asking this. If the Warriors meet the Nets in the finals, does that mean Kyrie can't play at all? And the crazy thing is, I've seen even NBA.com and I've heard podcasts erroneously say he can't. The
It's not true.
answer,
You yeah.
yeah,
I'm
you
glad.
can
Yeah,
play.
yeah.
He can play at Golden State as a visiting performer, right? The vaccine mandate is for the local citizens. It's not for the visiting performers.
Yep.
For them, all they have to do is show a negative test within a certain amount of time. I don't have the exact time frame in front of me, but that's what it is. That's what the rule is for them. And so if the Nets play the Warriors, and not only that, the Nets play the Warriors last Saturday in January. It's an ABC game. He's going to play, other than if, he doesn't feel like it or he gets hurt or something like that. But absent that, he's going to play. So
Yep. Toronto, if they face Toronto in the Eastern Conference Finals, guys, it's a problem.
isn't it weird, by the way, that Dirk Nowitzki retirement night, the uh, Nets and the Pacers are playing. The Pacers are coached by Rick Carlisle, and the Nets are coached by Steve Nash.
That is weird. Why would they pick
Why?
this night?
Why would they pick this night? Now they ended up winning, right? But like on the outside, you're like, why would we? It's like homecoming. Don't you want to play like the worst team possible?
Do you think they like? Do you think they had it scheduled for like 2 weeks from now? But because of Omicron, they're like, "Yo, we gotta get
No.
this in."
No, it was the beginning of the year because I remember as soon as they announced it, I said, why would you pick the game that you're already going to sell out and can charge people an arm and a leg for, which is the Warriors game, to do that? Why wouldn't you pick Oklahoma City or something like that? Because to me, there was two things. One is it's like I said, it's the homecoming thing. You want to be able to win. But the other thing is, don't you want those other guys to be available to come in? Rick Carlisle, Steve Nash, and everybody else. But I guess it all worked out because everyone taped their thank yous to Dirk, and obviously the Mavs won rather resoundingly. I didn't watch that game, Tom, so I have no idea what happened.
Well, tonight, a lot of people wondering if like Steph Curry is like got the yips. And he missed 14 straight shots, which according to our guy Mark Spears over at the Undefeated, it's the longest, tied for the longest cold streak of Steph Curry's career. The other times that he's done this is January 10th of last year, and then November 24th and 25th of 2017. So he's done this twice in his career. And I was curious, like, what happened after that? What happened after people were going in mass hysteria about Steph Curry, whether he has the yips, whether he forgot how to shoot the ball? And if Steph Curry forgets how to shoot the ball, is he even an NBA player? Oh my God. Well, here's what happened in the next 10 games. Last year, averaged 27 a game, shot 50% from the floor. In 2017, after he missed 14 straight shots, he then went on to average 31.2 points per game and shoot 54% in those 10. So, no, he's fine. He's going to be fine. This is Steph Curry.
Let me ask you this.
Go through highs and lows and blips. He's going to be fine.
Is there any element of Steph is wearing out?
No, don't do this.
I mean, no, I'm just asking. No, I'm asking.
Wearing out? What does that mean?
Wearing out in the sense that like he's put up some pretty big efforts early this season, and then obviously the hunt for the 3-point record saw him kind of kick it up another notch.
No,
the last slump he had everybody around him, so it was just like a slump as opposed to this is like, man, like maybe he's a little bit gassed.
You think this dude who's won 2 MVPs and championships, like you think he's like pressing right now to the point where he's lost his ability to shoot? You think he's gassed? Like he's
I think that's not pressing. A little spent, maybe.
Wouldn't you have seen it like a couple weeks ago when he was doing the?
I think we did.
He dropped 46 2 days before Christmas.
That doesn't mean he's shitty every goddamn day. I'm just saying, like, over a span of time. We're not talking about just tonight. We're talking about, I would say, starting with maybe a couple games before the Portland game where people said maybe he can hit 16 in one night, right? Starting there, I was like, he's been not quite himself.
I don't know. I think that's overblown. I think he's fine. I think he's going through a little bit of a fluky bad shooting night. All right, how about this? Because we've done some bets in our day. I'll set the over under. Hey, Tony in the chat. I would love to know if you could set the over under on Stephen Curry's next game point total. You want to do point total? You want to do like field goal percentage or something like that? I mean,
I don't know what the point is. Are you saying that like, I'm saying he'll never have another good game again?
No, I'm just saying if you think he's truly fried, he's going to be bad tomorrow night.
I didn't say truly fried. I just said he's a little. See, that's the problem, man. What kind of straw man are you constructing? What the hell are you doing? Hold on. See, I'm going to do Let me do this. I'm gonna look up what exactly he's done since November 30th. I believe that was the beginning of him being less than. So I'm on NBA.com. I'm filibustering right now. I'm searching Curry, right? Oh, not Seth. We want Steph. And then I'm gonna click on his stats, and then
You're
I'm gonna
looking
say
you're looking for since the New York game when he broke the record.
no. You see, you're not even listening, man. And that honestly,
November
that's
30th is
that's the most the disappointing part, to be perfectly honest with you. Where's the filter for? I don't have a filter. I guess I could go. Yeah, where's the filter for the?
gefilte fish.
Because this is add custom filter. Where's the filter for date? When they take this shit away? What the hell? Get out of here! You're full of shit.
Zach Harper has tweeted at you, Amin.
Yeah.
Jason Kidd's attire for his pregame media chat is a half zip with Dirk's authentic jersey over the half zip.
Yeah, I saw that. I did see that. What the hell? Is NBA.com tripping with me? Yeah, this is insane.
What are you trying to do? Can I help, please? This is
I'm just trying to find that, like, since like the date. It used to be right there. One of the filters would be what dates did you want to select, and now they don't have that button there anymore.
I'm seeing it. I mean, advanced filters. And go to date from.
Oh, advanced filters. Yeah, I don't have date. I swear to God, dude. I will literally screenshot right now for you.
What is the stat you're looking for? And I'll just
what's his shooting been? What is his 3-point shooting been? What is his field goal percentage been?
Since when?
Since November 30th.
October 30th. Pulling it up here. All right, since that October 30th game at Phoenix.
November 30th. November 30th.
Since January 30th. November 30th, he is shooting 37.9% from the floor, 35.7% from three-point land, and he's averaging 25.3 points per game.
Dude, we're talking about a month and change. You think that's normal? You think that's all right?
I think it's arbitrary endpoints because you're including a game in which he shot 4 for 21, and the previous game he shot 12 to 22. So anyway, the point is, I think Steph's fine. He is questionable, I guess. Tomorrow night, Steve Kerr is calling him questionable with a quad contusion. So maybe that's fake. Maybe that's real. Maybe he's just giving him a night off to refresh the batteries, clear his head, so to speak, and get back out on the floor. Maybe he is spent. Maybe he needs a little breather. But yeah, I'm just giving you shit, man.
What was the point of that whole exercise? You could have been like, "Oh, that could be true." Instead, we went on like this tangent to pull these numbers for you to say, maybe. You try to make bets with me about like, well, how is he? Is he usually like 4 for 100 next game? I'm like, no, I'm just saying it might be tied in. It might. I actually wanted to segue because this is comeback week. Kyrie came back. Kevin Porter came back from a suspension. Lance Stephenson came back. We didn't even know he was coming back. And Klay Thompson is coming back on Sunday. And so maybe we keep talking about how good this is going to be for Klay. We don't talk enough about how good this is going to be for Steph. The cavalry is here.
Take a load off Fanny. Take a load for free.
That's all the Klay Thompson content you have, huh?
Take a load off Fanny. And take a load. All right. So, well, we discussed this. I mean, I think they're going to bring Klay Thompson back into the starting lineup to get him reacquainted much easier with Steph around him, with Draymond around him, and basically give him some familiar faces around rather than bring him in off the bench. While, yes, that would be probably the most logical thing to do from a minute standpoint, from a playing time standpoint, but I think they're going to bring him into the lineup straight up right out of the gate. They've already put Jordan Poole into the bench 6-man position, and I think that's where they'll keep him. But Klay, man, I don't know. Is the medical community so much better now that guys like Kevin Durant can come from 2 years away from the game and just be fine, just be better than ever, where we see DeMarcus Cousins having all of those injuries to him, and he's still an NBA player, albeit a bench player at this point. Where 10 years ago, if those injuries happened 10 years ago, I'm not so sure DeMarcus Cousins is playing in the NBA. So Klay Thompson, it's interesting to me is this long layoff for him. I think it's going to really help him. I think it is. I think they didn't rush him back. They took their time.
Has it been a long layoff though? When you talk about since the rupture, like since the ACL, yeah, it's been a long layoff. But if we're talking about the rupture of his Achilles, he hasn't had nearly the time off that, say, Kevin Durant got, which we attribute to like part of why his rehab went so well.
Yeah, that's true. I think he did the Achilles in November of last year, because it was the season started December 25th, and so it was like ramping up into training camp, and he blew out his Achilles. Yeah, I think when you look at Klay, the defense is a big question. They got Andrew Wiggins, they got Gary Payton Jr. to see if those guys are going to be the lockdown defender, and so now you don't have to rely on Klay Thompson as the lockdown defender like you did in years past. So that's going to be really nice for him. Man, I think this is a good situation for him, and Steph Curry is going to be very happy to see him after he's been in this slump. And you keep saying this, like you keep saying, I mean, that he's fine and that Steph Curry's totally fine, but I just kind of feel like, I mean, I don't know. I just kind of feel like he's not burnt out, but he's just kind of feeling a little bit.
Is anyone amused by Tom's antics? If anyone says yes, I'll go along with it. Anybody at all. Tony, I'm including you.
What bit are you talking about? What do you mean, what antics? What are you talking about? Hey, look at this Mark Cuban statue they just unveiled.
Is it a Mark Cuban statue?
Why is there 3 balls? It's Dirk Nowitzki, yeah. Why are there 3 balls?
Because it's like the arc of his shot. Like they're trying to symbolize, like, oh, he's got a crazy release on his shot.
Do you think that they had like 8 balls, but they were like, no, this looks kind of stupid.
Too much. Too much. Yeah.
Because like it just looks kind of weird.
Well, I think 3 is the minimum to indicate like the parabola, right? Like you need one at the release, one at the top, and then one kind of dipping down.
There's 3. There's 3. This is like a Mario Kart time trials. They got like a little ghost ball.
Yeah. Someone asked, "Do you really need 3 balls?" And like, hey, the more the merrier.
Yeah.
3 balls like
Dr. Evil. Bam McMahon is on his Instagram. He's doing a Cojones Factor, a weekly Cojones Factor award.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Bam McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Bam McMahon. All right, I'm gonna listen. Steph Curry on his recent shooting issues. The ball's just not going in, as he says. See, he's fine.
Why would you look for a transcript? Why would you listen to it?
Because what did you have something you wanted to say? I mean, that I couldn't listen for like 8 seconds.
No, that's the problem. I didn't have anything to say, so we just had to sit there and watch you listen silently to Steph Curry talk.
How is this my fault that you didn't have anything to say?
Morgan from Australia, this is content. You're absolutely right. This is the marching band to nowhere. I feel like the last couple of streaming ones we've done for you guys, live ones, these post game shows, have been crisp. They've been interesting. They've been full of energy. They've been full of information. And this one is like, yeah, this feels like Levitard on a Wednesday, doesn't it? Like Levitard on a Wednesday. We just, I don't know what else. I think you got anything else?
Yeah.
You
Zion
got one
injury
more thing?
rehab away
Oh
from the
my god.
Pelicans. You want to talk
Yeah.
about Zion injury
Yeah, yeah.
for a couple minutes?
I gotta steal Zach's joke because like he's gonna go rehab in Portland, and then Zach took a screenshot of a map of Portland and all the Voodoo Donut sites, and like here's where he's gonna be rehabbing. Oh my
Because he's
god.
fat, is what you're saying?
What's
Because he's
yeah?
fat.
What's it? Salt and Straw? Is that the name of the ice cream place?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's he's gonna be rehabbing there.
Listen to this quote from allegedly from Zion. As you can imagine, this has been a very difficult process for me. I know there's work to be done in my recovery before I can safely return to the court, but I will continue to put in the time. Actually, you know what? I'm going to send this to you. How about we do an Obama speech on Zion's injury? Here we go. It's in your group chat. I mean,
Do you want me? You want me to read Zion's
I want you to
words?
read Zion's words
All right. Let's see if I can do this.
as Barack.
I've not seen these comments, by the way. So I'm going in blind here. All right. As you can imagine, this has been a very difficult process for me. I know there's work to be done in my recovery before I could safely return to the court. But I will continue to put in the time necessary so I can get back on the floor with my team, represent the Pelican fans and the city of New Orleans at the highest level. Now, Mitch McConnell doesn't want that. He wants me representing the Pelicans at the lowest level. Let me be clear. Basketball means everything to me. So do chicken wings and cheesecake and beignets, crawfish. Have you ever had fried alligator? Oh, boy. And I am thankful for the Pelicans organization and everyone who has surrounded me with love and support throughout this journey. My family, Michelle, Sasha, Malia, friends like Joe and Bernie, teammates, coaches, staff, Rahm Emanuel, fans, and everybody who stood behind me and uplifted me when I needed it most.
And scene.
Thank you.
I feel like that plus the Sweet Lance song was worth the price of admission.
Have you ever had fried alligator, by the way? Oh my God. New Orleans. Go to New Orleans, get a fried alligator po' boy, get that Louisiana hot sauce, douse it on it. Thank me later, like Ben McMahon.
Some char grilled oysters. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Some po' boys. Yeah.
Some Doritos, some Mountain Dew.
Cafe Du Monde.
Maybe some video games. Maybe sit on the couch. Rehab with Zach LaVine.
What is everything fried good? Because you say like fried gator is good, but that's only because it's fried. Like it's not like you're eating gator,
grilled
sauteed
gator. Good.
Grilled gator. Are you? I've never had.
I've had gator sausage. Yeah, I've had it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Zion doing a dunking of a different kind. It's a good one.
Oh,
Zion.
So we were talking about Zion, and then Ja Morant is. Do you think this was Ja Morant MVP week? Like every week in the NBA, there's a new MVP that we got to keep things interesting. Every week in the NBA, we're going to have someone to keep things interesting. We're going to have a debate about them being in the MVP conversation. I think this week is Ja Morant MVP. That is Ja Morant MVP week. Well, I don't know who's going to be next week.
Desmond Bain with the ultimate straw man. He said, I don't know why we're debating Ja Morant as all-star. Who the hell is debating Ja Morant as an all-star? What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Great teammate.
I felt like Jim Carrey in Truman Show when his wife turns around and starts talking about, that's why I always turn to Moco Coco whenever I need it after a long day. And he's like, the hell are you talking about? Who are you talking to?
Yeah. Great teammate. Great
Tom, I think
teammate, Desmond Bain.
there's only one way we can end this. By reheating and recycling something that we did somewhere else. Josh Giddey, youngest player in NBA history to have a triple-double, Tom. Breaking the record that LaMelo Ball set last year. The other three guys on the top 5 list of youngest players to have triple-double, Lonzo Ball, Markelle Fultz, Luka Doncic. You might say to yourself, wait a second, all those guys have been drafted in the last 5 years.
It's true.
Right? So is it something about triple doubles that have become easier in the last few years, Tom?
No, it has not been that. It is mostly about pace. Well, pace is driving a lot of those triple doubles. There's two things that are happening to drive up all these triple doubles. Triple double inflation, Amin, is a very real thing in today's NBA. Where Tony, before the game, was like, holy shit, Domantas Sabonis has a triple double.
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, man.
Triple double against the Nets alone.
That's NBA economics 101. Got a lot of inflation, triple double inflation because of pace, number one. Pace is at near historic highs.
Well,
the historic highs.
Post-merger.
We talk about Oscar Robertson. Oh my God. Oscar Robertson averaged a triple double, 1962-63. What they don't tell you, Amin.
This is what big basketball doesn't want you to know.
This is what big basketball doesn't want you to know, Amin. Is that era had 5 quarters of basketball. And you might be saying to yourself, what do you mean they had 5 quarters of basketball? Well, they averaged in that era 125, 130 possessions in a game. Today, there's 98.
What? Are you telling me that there are like 30 plus more possessions per game back then? Well, that's enough possessions to have another quarter of basketball.
Did you just call Oscar Robertson a stat padder, Amin?
I believe I did. A compiler at that. Wow. Compiler.
So Wilt Chamberlain averaging over 50 points a game. Oscar Robertson averaging a triple-double.
Tom, all these players nowadays shoot threes, surely, because players back then took better shots. There weren't that many rebounds to go around, even with the more pace, right? Because they were so accurate, taking such smart shots, posting up, doing things the way they should have been done.
Playing basketball the right way, Amin. The way that John Naismith wanted it to be played.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something, Amin. In 1963, do you want to take a guess as to what? Well, it's more like we'll go to 1957. We'll just go to 1957. Pick it. 38%. 38% was the field goal percentage. The league average field goal percentage.
What was it in 63? Because you kind of lost a lot of. What?
Yeah, I lost a lot of steam there.
It was, what was it? Was it 40, like 48?
43. It was 43.
43% is absurdly low. Like, what is it now?
45. 45.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's with all the 3-point shooting. I mean, I don't know. 43%.
Compare the effective field goal percentage.
All right. The effective field goal percentage, which is weighted for 3-pointers. Back then, no 3-pointers, but the effective field goal percentage, of course, was 43 because there was no 3-point shot. Now the effective field goal percentage is 52. So with the advent of the 3-point shot and how good everyone is at 3-point shooting.
Someone said, I dare you to talk shit on Havlicek. All I know is the NBA and the ABA merged, and within 1 year, Havlicek was like, you know what? I think I'm done playing basketball. I'm telling you, you look at the game so different if you just look at everything that happened before the merger and after the merger. Just take a look at it. Just give it a gander. You figure out like, oh wow, like things changed a lot. If I showed you tape of NBA pre-merger versus ABA pre-merger and asked you which one of these more closely resembles the way we play basketball now, you'd all say ABA. The year after we talked to George Gervin about this. The first year after the merger, the All-Star game, of the 24 players, like 18 of them were ABA players or ABA alums on some level. It's ridiculous. And yet the league continues to scrub their memory away. Hey, Tom, here's some Tom's trivia for you. NBA coaches wins, right? Who's number one?
Coaches wins?
Yep.
Don Nelson.
Don Nelson's number one with 1335. Who's number two?
George Karl.
George Karl was once the winningest coach of all time. Is that what you think?
I don't know.
It's Lenny Wilkens. It's Lenny Wilkens.
I'm just saying George Karl with the Sacramento Kings. They won 60 games a year. Stat padding.
So number two is Lenny Wilkens at 1332, right? To find Larry Brown, you've got to go all the way down. Greg Popovich is third, by the way, 1324. So he's closing in on number one here. You find Larry Brown, you have to go all the way down to 8, and he's got 1,098 wins according to the NBA. Except for the fact that Larry Brown in the ABA won an additional 229 games. What does that mean? It means that Larry Brown technically should have 1327. He should be in third place, not Greg Popovich, not Jerry Sloan and Pat Riley and all the other guys ahead of him. But the NBA scrubbed out that ABA stuff, and so here we are. So Havlicek and Kuzi and all the people who padded stats in a league that had 8 teams, where all the most athletic players and the most skilled players and the most improvisational players played in the other league, can all kiss my ass. Thank you for your service. Now sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up, in the words of Tom Cruise from Tropic Thunder. And I gave you a second rant. How about that?
That's great. Can't believe they put 3 balls on the trophy.